Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Iris Podcast. I am Mr. Yeti. Joining me tonight, we have BethCon and Navino. How are you guys doing tonight?
Just fine.
It's almost that playoff time of year, baby.
Almost that.
Exciting.
Exactly. Exciting time here in Tranquility. 1 week before the playoffs. The regular season is almost over, everybody. And on top of that, too, we have an amazing slate of content for you all week, but we'll be talking about that later on in the cast tonight. Of course, as a reminder, already building Hypeworks is the best cast of the year, the Bracketology podcast next week. Do not miss it. You're going to want to be here for that. The combo podcast between ourselves and Predicting Tranquility. Awesome night coming up for sure, guys. But let's talk first about, well, something different. We're skipping the Amp It Up today because we have so much stuff to get to tonight. We have so much. Again, we're going to talk some stuff about some playoff scenarios coming up. We got the Iris top 8s as well. And then we also have your end of season award nominees, which I know you guys are excited about as well. So stay tuned. All that is coming up here. But first, we have our final season 8 Hall of Fame inductee. We've had a lot of inductees this season so far. To recap all of them, we have Smugs, Ice, Capital, Chimanzi, Crispy, and Sneaky Kittens so far have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. But of course, there is one more to induct. Now, this one might be a bit of an unfamiliar name to a lot of people who have come into Tranquility of late. They are a long-time member of the community. They've been here since season 1 on a little team named Dracarys. Now, I know, terrible name. But that being said,
Just think of Game of Thrones.
Exactly. Came in Dracarys and instantly was one of the most, I would say, one of the most active personalities in Tranquility. And if you were here in those early seasons, if you tuned into our casts, there's one voice that you almost always heard because he was one of our first OG casters as well. The origin of the Tranquility rap god. And he's been around since that for a long time since then. He is a champion as well, winning season 4 or season 5 with Airstrike. 5, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. I think it's season 5.
When he won, I think it was season 4.
I think it was season 4.
5 was Habs. 5 was Habs.
That's right. Season 4.
I remember it because that was Joey's first season.
People are figuring it out already. Congratulations to Cryptic J Force, one of the original OGs of Tranquility. Congratulations, he is our final inductee for Tranquility Hall of Fame here in season 8. There's a lot that can be said about Cryptic, but if there's one thing that can be said that's true, he has been one of the most consistent and welcoming personalities in all of Tranquility. One of the most popular names and memes in Tranquility as well. And just genuinely one of the best people in general in Tranquility. Was season 4. Thank you, Cryptic. Everybody loves Cryptic. It's just a simple fact. The dude is awesome. He's just fantastic, and he has meant a lot to this community, and ever since he has been around. This season, despite his best judgment, he decided to join up with Marsupial Gaming, and particularly on Navino's team, Cryptic. And Navino, tell me a little bit about Cryptic on Joey Esports.
I mean, the fact that he's called Cryptic J Force just kind of fits.
It really does. Does.
I remember having him trial, and the meme right now with Joey is every time we scrim like in league, he goes, I trialed for this team. It's kind of like the Bowsy bit from the charity week, but even worse. And he's just funny to be around. He just does not. He just always. I never have to tell him walk. No. He kind of just pins, and it really fits our play style really well. It's been really a blast to have him on the team. Like I think the most iconic clip I have of Joey this season was if you saw on the Marsupial Twitter when we nanoed a Lucio trying to kill a Kree in the back line. And you just hear Cryptic in the background just hyping it up, just all for it. He fits the energy really well, and he's been great to have around. And he honestly, what's great is that he doesn't really have like an ego. Like, yes, he wants to win, and yes, he's very competitive, but like I think back to our game versus QQs week 1, we were having trouble in Monkey and we were lacking comms, so we subbed me back in to play Monkey and Orisa, and he was 100% for it. He didn't get a butt hurt. He didn't he's just that stand up guy that just wants the team to win more than himself.
A lot can be said about Cryptic. Just one of the best people in the community over the past 5 years. Awesome guy. So congratulations, Cryptic. Well deserved. Again, that is the entirety of our Season 8 Hall of Fame class. It's Smugs, Ice, Capital, Chimanzi, Crispy, Sneaky Kitten, and Cryptic J-Force. All of them will receive the Hall of Fame role in the Tranquility server as well. That is our final member. We will be doing this again in Season 10 when that happens. And thanks, Nagi, by the way. Holy shit.
Holy smokes.
That's a lot of
That's a lot of subs. Thank you so much. So
I try and forget Cryptic's taste in metal music.
Yeah,
I'll be real.
no.
I try and just ignore that.
You know
it's a
what?
thing.
It's funny you bring that up because Cryptic did refer me to a playlist of Sabaton music.
I was gonna say, is it Sabaton? Because that's like the one topic of conversation I think I've ever had with him. I freaking love it.
And I will say, Cryptic, just for you, buddy, that is my son's favorite playlist on my Spotify. Is the Sabaton? He has a hilarious addiction to folk metal.
Stop.
Folk
Your son
metal.
has great taste
Yes.
in music.
No.
That should never change.
Scandinavian folk metal is all that kid wants to
Based
listen to.
on history.
How
much better
the
can
only
it
one
get?
that I bonded with Cryptic over was us talking about Ronnie James Dio versus Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. That was about it.
No, thank you for that, Cryptic. All right, guys, we have a lot to get to tonight. Again, end of season awards are going to come up a little bit later. We also have some playoff scenarios we'll be discussing here shortly. But first, we're going to get into the return of the Iris Top 8, and we'll start it off in the North American Harmony tier. And starting off at number 8, after a couple tough defeats here recently, the Jersey Boys. In 7th, quite a couple tough defeats as well, Amateur Professionals. In 6th, after a big win over Luminous, is the Doodles. In 5th is Strix. In 4th is the Luminous Foxes. In 3rd, you have the Galactic Penguins. In 2nd, after a big win over the Galactic Penguins, is the Big Bang Buccaneers. And in 1st is, and as they have been all season, the Koala Kings. Now, it is worth noting with regards to Luminous and Doodles, most of the votes came in before the results of that match happened. Disadvantage of having it happen on a Sunday, I have to get prep done by then. I can't wait for you guys to finish your matchup. So unfortunately, a lot of the votes came in before that actual match finished up. So a lot of people, it is worth noting here, the Doodles and Luminous situation is a little bit up in the air with regards to where the teams belong. Otherwise, your thoughts, Beth, on how this overall looks?
Yeah, and I'm basing my thoughts based on the big win that Doodles took. So my thoughts on this are number 1 and number 2 seem pretty appropriate right now. Koala Kings are an obvious choice for number 1 in my opinion. Big Bang have proved themselves the last couple of weeks, so I think number 2 seems about right. After that, I feel like I'd mix it up a little bit. I feel like Doodles would be more appropriate, maybe in that 3rd spot after that win, honestly. Luminous Foxes right after them, then maybe Galactic Penguins, and then Strix. So I would kind of mix it up a little bit in the top, but every team that's on the list I think deserves to be there, just maybe in different spots.
Bino, what do you think about this top 8?
Unlike Beth, I would yeet some people. I would yeet. I would do some yeeting, and that is specifically towards the bottom because Frostbloom's 2-0 with a dominant win over Jersey Boys. Like, I don't know how we justify keeping Jersey Boys in the top 8. They weren't in my top 8. I can tell you that. I love the Jersey Boys. I love Godzilla, but like they've just not performed. And Frostbloom, like I want to give them props. You know, like I meme on Frost a bit at times, but I gotta say Rook did a really good job of taking like a extra spot and turning it into a competitive team. And like based on like when I watched them stage 1 versus now, they are so much better. and I'm just shocked by how much they've improved in such a short amount of time. So that is that speaks a lot to the org. And that's who I would take out. I would put also Doodles in third. I'll probably put Luminous in fourth, but I actually think I could even see Galactic Penguins because my thing with Doodles personally is are they going to show up? I remember when they were going to play Koala, they wanted it. The 2 days they wanted to reschedule to is when we didn't have our off tank, so we just couldn't do it. So it didn't work out. So we took the fourth. Mm-hmm. So it's I don't know how that's going to last in playoffs, and I'd love to see them make a run in playoffs, but I just remember season 6 when they literally forfeited out of playoffs. So
it's will they show up, and then which Doodles do you get? They can be a little bit streaky at the same time.
Yes, 100%.
Big win.
They lost some games they really shouldn't have lost before. How would they get 4-0 by GP if they can then take Luminous to map 5 and win?
It's a tale as old as time. The Doodles question. Which Doodles will you get?
Yeah, no, it's cool to see them do well, though.
Mm-hmm.
Discord tier now. Let's talk about Discord tier, your top 8 as it sits. Number 8 is Valkyrie. In 7th place is Space Created. In 6th is the Renegades. Coming in 5th, we have Redacted. And in 4th, got Steel Team Spuds. In 3rd place, you have the Quokka Queens. In 2nd place, Joseph Electronic Sports. And in 1st place, the Cosmic Castaways. A lot of the same faces still on the top here. Guys, Beth, start us off. What do you think?
Yeah, for the most part, I feel like this list looks pretty good. The one team that I'm wondering whether they deserve maybe a lower tier spot, but at least some talk nonetheless, is Rampaging Inferno. So they're 2-0 in their stage right now, and maybe it's not the strongest group stage out of all of them, but they've been proving themselves in there. And I think that they deserve a little bit more talk, maybe an 8th place on this list, and who knows, they could have the potential to make a decent playoff run, I feel like.
Dina, what do you think?
I kind of feel the same. I really don't think Space Created deserves to be in there. If you look at the last 2 games, they've won 2 maps in 2 games, and 2 of those maps came against the same team, and then they drew a map versus QQ. But the rest of the series, when you watched it, QQ just felt like they were in control pretty much the entire time. Because they held Space Created for 5 minutes on second point Anubis. To me, it's if you're a top 8 team, you need to close those out and at least get that map win. But they didn't. And so to me, I would put Rampaging Inferno in there because they're 2-0. They deserve to be in there. Renegades, I think, are fine to be in there, but I would maybe put them at 7th or 8th, to be honest, because they did just get 4-0. Granted, they got 4-0 by me, but still, it's a 4-0.
Oh. All right. Transcendence here now. Let's get out of this. Now. I can't stand it anymore. Number 8 is Uzumaki. And in 7th is Reckless Sigma. In 6th place, Reckless Arcadia. In 5th is Carnage. Coming in 4th place, you have Battalion. And in 3rd place is the Decapitators. In 2nd place, the Devil Dukes. And in 1st place, Stepazooxis, even though my video cut out randomly there. Sorry about that, guys. Tale as old as time at the top of this pool. None of these teams have played each other yet. But we're finally going to see some of these teams play each other. Really, other than Battalion versus Decapitators, we haven't seen really go at each other yet. So, Beth, your thoughts on this top 8?
I mean, other than the occasional flip-flop of rankings and the exclusion of Throwing or Bad, who got 2 4-0 win by forfeits, this is basically chalk top 8. I don't really have much to argue about it.
Won both by forfeit?
They got 2 wins by forfit, I believe.
Oh, that's so sad.
No, in the entire thing.
I think this
not this stage. No. I mean overall.
So
I'm talking about total overall map standings.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Navino, what do you think? Oh, sorry. Good? Okay, we're good. All right. Navino, go ahead.
I think, if anything, this week just really kind of showed me the real difference between top 4 and the rest of the tier, with Carnage losing 4-0 to Battalion. And it's kind of what I've been saying most of the season, I think, is that it is really Deke has Battalion, Epi, and DD, and then everyone else. And I don't know, like decap falling to 3 makes sense to me, but I think you still make an argument because they've still been winning. But it's been some close calls for them, while DD and Epi have been rather dominant in
3
their
straight
stage
2-1 matchups.
Yes,
one of the
it's
more
been-
interesting. I've never seen anything like that. 3 straight 2-1s.
Draw for Bard.
And not
Yeah, Bard
only
paid him off.
not only 3 straight 2-1s, by the way, but 3 straight reverse sweep 2-1s.
Yeah,
That is just bizarre, and I'm pretty sure that Andy in his old age is about to die of a heart attack because of it. By the way, happy
Yeah.
birthday, Andy. Anyways,
So,
go on.
I don't know who I really know who I put instead, but I think this top 8 makes sense. I think Uzumaki versus Boomers will be an interesting game to see who like kind of enters that top 8. Hopefully Arcadia bounces back versus Zeus after starting the stage 0-2.
I have a lot of faith in Arcadia still. I think that's a good, well-rounded team. I like their leadership a lot, and I think I like both the Reckless team. I think for me, it's those top 4 teams, and then Carnage and the Reckless team. I think all kind of in the same group right now. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at right now. But anyways, let's get to the EU now. The Harmony EU top 4 in 4th place, making their top 4 debut is Acer. In 3rd is Paid to Win. 2nd, you have Feeders United. And in 1st place is Apollo. Get your thoughts here. Beth, start us off.
I mean, I think this is a pretty solid top 4. If I had to argue one thing, it might be that Venice Vipers might deserve a little bit of a look, or at least maybe a consideration for a 4th place on this list. The problem is that they lost 4-0 to Apollo this week, so I feel like that would hurt them in the ratings regardless, but they're not a team to be overlooked.
Bino, what do you think?
Pretty much the same. Like, I think EU, even with Scrimbucks coming out, after the whole thing, that Apollo just took their place as kind of the dominant force. Has anyone even taken them to map 5?
Not to map 5. They've had some maps taken off of them, but
Yeah. They're not as dominant as Scrimbucks, but like they are like the force right now, and that's kind of how I see it. And I think this makes sense. Like, yes, you can make an argument for Venice Vipers, but it's kind of Apollo at the top and then everyone else, in my opinion.
I'm looking forward to another round of Apollo versus
Yeah.
seeing those two get out at each other. Let's take it now over to that's the end of the top 8. Pardon me. We're gonna go on to our weekly montage. This one is brought to you by Vila this week.
Over your skin, you can see it beat, intoxicating your energy. First time in so long, you felt the heat, evaporating your bindings. Move like the sunlight, darkness can't hold you here. Bold and bright, push through the atmosphere. This is your dawn, this is your break. Move like the sunlight, darkness can't hold you here. Bold and bright, push through the atmosphere. This is your dawn, this is your break. Move like the I know the sadness that cripples you. It comes in waves and out of the blue. But there are days you feel freedom too. Bask in the glorious lightning. Move like the sunlight, darkness can't hold you here. Bold and bright, push through the
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you again, Vila, for the amazing, as always, work on that montage there. Very, very well done, of course. Let's take a look at some playoff scenarios here, guys, coming into our final week of the regular season. Once again, everybody is fighting for seeding or just their very, very lives here in the playoff hunt. So let's start it off with in the EU. We got one big question coming out of there, and that is about Acer. Acer has come into this stage too. Definitely a team a lot of people weren't really looking at as much of a threat. They've really just come into it with an absolute flurry. They won the first 2 matches of the stage. They're sitting right now at the top. They have a match this week against Thunderbolt Rewind. It's the last thing in their way of a perfect stage and that 3rd seed, which can be a really, really big goal here at this point in the season. Are they going to close out this stage with yet another win and take that top spot? Beth, what do you think?
I am a big fan of Acer. They kind of came in a little bit late. They could have just, we're going to play this, see how it goes, but they really came out swinging. I have a feeling that they're going to be a strong contender moving forward, and I think that they will win this week. It'll be a fun game to check out, so I'll definitely be trying to catch the VOD for that. But.
Navino, what do you think?
Who do they play again?
They play Thunderbolt Rewind.
I think it's a pretty solid chance. Thunderbolt Rewind, every time I predict them, seem to lose. So wait till predicting Tranquility to see if that's true again. But I'm gonna go with yes. I think they've had a really nice stride or hit a really nice stride. Like didn't they get an upset like last week? Who'd they beat? Or I think they got 2 maps off someone. I don't remember. But all I know is I watched part of the VOD. Actually, it might have been the Gamers Apollo where they took a map that I'm thinking of. And I just thought, this team actually looks pretty good, honestly. So I'm going to go with a yes.
Right. Let's talk about some NA Harmony teams now. We have Frostbloom. We talked about them a little bit earlier. They're sitting at 2-0 right now. Got a big win upset win of the Jersey Boys here. They're right now sitting in an opportunity to claim an undefeated stage this week against Chrysalis. Beth, what do you think? Will they finish off this run here in this pool, take a 3rd seed? Unexpected 3rd seed.
Yeah, I think they've got this one. Chrysalis isn't a bad team, but they barely took the win over Gahana Gatekeepers, and it looks like Frostbloom's just really been hitting their stride lately. I mean, Jersey Boys, as we all know, is a really strong team, always kind of a dark horse to win the whole thing. And I mean, it was a close game, but Frostbloom was it a close game? I'm trying to remember if it was a 4-0 or not.
It was 4-0, but some of the maps were close.
It was a close 4-0. It was a close 4-0.
Yeah, the meme, the good old meme.
But yeah, I think Frostbloom is looking really good. I think that Schism, as their hit scan player, has just been really leading the charge for this team, and I have a feeling they're going to get that number 3 seed.
Go ahead, Vito, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Wait, did you want to go?
Oh, go.
Okay.
By all means, sir.
Look, man, I'm just
Go
out
for
here.
it.
I have. I'll be real. I have zero faith in Chrysalis unless Sergeant Pepper puts them in his backpack, on the Doomfist Afar or something. Like they just every time I think they're doing better, they kind of just slump, like getting 4-0'd by Fighting Potatoes. Like no offense to Fighting Potatoes, but I would not have. I did not predict that. And then they do okay in here, but they lose 3 with a JB, but they get a win versus Gehenna. I think that Frostbloom is coming in hot and they are coming in not hot. Or they're just coming in the same streaky selves they've been the entire season. I'd love it if I think if Chrysalis win, this could be a really big upset that sets them up for playoffs. But as of right now, I do not see the consistency. CTW is really good flex support. Pepper's really good DPS. They have good pieces to win. But I just do not see it happening right now.
All right. Going now over to another Harmony tier team, Big Bang Buccaneers. Sitting right now at 2-0. Not a team that everybody expected to be at this spot right now, but they have an opportunity to keep the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. They have an opportunity to win against Strix this week. They're going to need that win more than likely to claim it, as right with them on map diff. They take on Amateur Professionals, who has not looked great this stage. Beth, what is your thoughts here? Can your team take this win here this week against Strix?
I was going to say a huge bias alert here. But So I can tell just based on our experience that it's going to be a tough, close game. Strix were our warm-up partners in stage 1, and we always played every map really close. They ran some things that we still have trouble dealing with. So it's going to be a fun game. I'm excited to see how this one turns out. I'm not going to really give my opinion on whether or not we will win, just because I count it as bad luck to pick my own team in any situation. But needless to say, I'm really
You
looking.
would pick your own team.
No. Oh no. Where's the wood?
All right. Navino, what do you think on this one?
I kind of wanted just to say no, just to like spite Beth here, but
I'm so easily spiteable. Go
I
for
know.
it.
Very easily spelled.
very easily spiteable. You work in healthcare, like
I'm used to it.
Yeah. All right. On a real note, I think Strix is like how I saw Strix even for Koala last stage as a trap game, where like I look at their VODs, I hear their comms, I see I watch, I do the scouting, and I don't think that they're that great of a team. I think they're held up by a couple of really good players that really push them over the line. But sometimes those players can really push them over the line. If you hit Strix at the wrong time, some days they're just coordinated. Some days they are not, and so to me, it's a trap game is how I call it. You go in, you feel like you should win. You feel like this team is better. And heck, Strix lost 3-0 to GP, a team you just beat. But they have the potential to really screw up a bracket. So I'm going to say tentatively yes, but I do not lose all faith in Strix.
I see some giveaway entries coming in. Reminder, giveaway happening this week. It's still for the Tranquility shirt from the Tranquility store. Make sure to get those giveaway entries in. That will close a bit later in the cast. We'll let you Steel Team Spuds and Redacted are taking each other on to claim the number 2 in Orem on the Discord tier this week. Which team is coming out on top here, Beth?
So I picked Spuds in this one. I feel like the Spuds have been looking really strong this season. They have a pretty stacked roster top to bottom, minus Capital. JK, he's great. Love him. And I feel like Redacted has been struggling a bit against the teams they've played this stage. So I feel like Spuds is the stronger team here. That said, if Redacted does take it, I'm not going to be completely blown out of the water, but it'll be an interesting matchup to watch for sure.
Honestly, I feel like I'm so wishy-washy this cast because I don't want to full commit to anything because I'm not sure this time. And this is one of the few times on this podcast where I'm not sure how I feel about something. But I am sure that Spuds to me have underdelivered this season. To me. And that is after playing them, watching them play, the games that they're playing, I feel like they do have the roster to be a dominant team. And it doesn't feel like the dominance is there. But it also that's kind of affected by the fact that Valkyrie FF, so I didn't actually get to see them play versus Valkyrie, And so I think Spuds win this, but Redacted does something really well that I think that a lot of teams will struggle against is that they have a really fast pace. Joey warmed them up last week. Now, albeit Joey, if I've talked to anyone about the Renegade game, we had 3 ringers for warm up. They played really fast pace really well, and a lot of teams in Discord tier struggle against that fast pace. And so I think that Spuds might struggle against that tempo because I think that's where Spuds kind of struggle. But I think mechanically, everyone except Capital is better than Redacted mechanically. Everyone except Capital. I'm going to say that again. Except Capital. So I'm going to say tentative to Spuds as well. I think they'll win. I think they'll find a way because I think the veteran presence is there. But Redacted is macro-wise, a really solid tempo team.
Redacted has definitely looked really good.
Yeah.
For any of those top teams, you can't count them out right now. Those top 4 teams have been the top 4 all season, but considering how good Redacted has been, at times this season, I feel like Redacted has probably settled in really nicely into that next level and very easily could be one of the top teams. Never count out Redacted for sure. Going in this week here, we have a wild situation right now. For Firefight, Oath, Oreo Fleet, and Fenrir. They're all tied 1-1. Only 1 point of map differential separation between all the teams. It's an absolute cluster, and nobody can decide who wants to break away with this group, claim a 3rd seed in the playoffs. Taking a look here, I think a lot of people expected Firefight to be that team. A lot of people expected Oreo Fleet, probably. A lot of people expected Fenrir. And a lot of people didn't expect Oath, but Oath came out last week with a huge upset over Oreo Fleet. And you can't count out Oath right now. They look great. So who's going to come out of this mess? That's the question. Beth, what do you think?
Yeah, so I did a lot of kind of looking and thinking about this one. I'm not as familiar with Discord tier in general. I ended up going with Firefight just because of kind of overall record, kind of strength of players, strength of wins, things like that. But I think Oreo Fleet technically beat them at one point too. So I almost went for Oreo Fleet, but it's just a really tough situation. Like you said, all of these teams have that chance to take that like 3rd seed away. Although I'm putting my money down on Firefight, I feel like any one of these teams could get that spot. And that's what makes playoffs so exciting. And that's why we play the game, right? Any given Wednesday. So it'll be a fun set of matchups to watch.
Not wrong. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. Navino, who comes out of this mess?
If you had asked me before the stage started, I would have really seen this as Fenrir's group to lose, and they've definitely started to lose it. So my money is frankly, I kind of have Firefight bias because I know them, but it was like I really don't know like how to go here. I'm gonna say Firefight purely because of bias at this point, even though I dislike predicting a Thor team. Just like we all dislike predicting marsupial teams, except for myself, of course.
Not wrong.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Firefight as well. If anything though, because who does Fenrir play again? Oreo Fleet?
Fenrir plays Oreo Fleet, yeah.
I think Fenrir probably loses to Oreo Fleet. And then it just comes down to map differential, so I'm not sure how the math works out there. But I'm still gonna go Firefight, honestly.
I will say to credit to Oath, because Oath got into this pool because of the Drake situation. They should have They were supposed to be an elimination pool. So very easily they could have just written it off. They could have been very easily written off.
Mm-hmm.
They don't deserve to be in this pool. They haven't played up to the expectation. They showed up and took on Oreo Fleet, who made some changes to get more competitive, and then Oath just comes out and wins 3-2. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody predicted that. And credit to Oath for coming up big, and that's part of me is just like, I love their story. Really cool story behind that team. Hope to talk about them a little bit more. And just don't count out Oath. They're a really cool team. And
I would agree.
Let's go now to Quokka Queens and the Renegades. Now, Renegades definitely a bit of an upset maker this season. Have had some big wins. Kind of weird losses at times too. Some unfortunate losses in the form of mass disconnects, of course. Anyways, Quokka Queens versus Renegades. They're taking each other on to claim the number 2 seed in Indigo in Discord. Who's going to come out on top here? Beth, what do you think?
I hate what I am about to do, and that is to pick Quokka Queens.
I just feel
like in this group stage, the marsupial org is just the worst. They're the worst, and I hate them. No. I think that they're probably the better 2 teams in their in this tier. I just feel like Quokka Queens is probably gonna win this week, as much as I hate to admit it, and hate it even more now that Navino freaking dabbed on stream.
Yeah, I know, right? Who dabs on stream?
We have an entire
Navino, your thoughts?
That was a season 2 meme. Anyway,
that was a season 2.
I kind of just wrote QQ bias down for I'll be real, guys. That being said, though, I've played both teams. I actively had to really try to get around the ball comps and how they play it. And Madsen and Reborn are just really good DPS players that punish stupid mistakes. I think Renegades is a trap game for QQ as well. And that's very winnable. I just, as of right now, I'm also a QQ believer. I think this is QQ's game to lose. That's really all there is to it. QQ's just shown time and again that they can compete with the top 2 or 3 teams. and they should be able to beat anyone outside that top 2 or 3.
All right, moving into the Transcendence tier, Decapitators. They're looking to sew up a number 1 seed in Indigo. They have in order to do so, they'll have to win over Carnage. Carnage and Battalion could both pass Decapitators if they lose. The question is, will Decapitators hold off Carnage to take the number 1 seed? Beth, your thoughts?
So I am going to give it to Decaps here. They've had a pretty kind of rough couple of weeks with, like you said, drawing more maps than anybody in the history of Tranquility ever, and having those all be kind of reverse 2 to 1-to-1s. That said, I feel like that shows a lot of really good, strong mental fortitude. And when we get to this point in the season, that's a really important component for a team to have in order to keep doing well. So even though those are kind of close wins, they're maybe not performing up to the standards we'd expect. I have no reason to think they won't continue to pull out those wins. So I've got them over Carnage in this week.
Bino, what do you think?
I also have to give it to Decaps because I kind of said it in my power rankings thing. Like, it's the top 4 than everyone else. Battalion loses Decaps 2-1-1, and then Battalion proceeds to, honestly, dominantly 4-0 Carnage. So unless Carnage turn themselves around in the space of a week, I do not see it happening. Now, if Decaps, decides to 2-1-1 this again, I'll have some very much questions because at this point, I'm starting to think that Decaps are the team that play up and down to their competition is kind of how I see it. They can compete with the top teams because when they play top teams, they play up. But as soon as they play someone lower, they also play down. They get sloppy. And, maybe with Delphi on main tank, I can't believe I'm saying that, things will change.
But it does put Smugs back on his natural role, I think is a big help there. For them.
True. But addition by subtraction sometimes doesn't always work,
True.
But as we said, I have high hopes. I think Decaps is a better team than what's it called?
Carnage.
Carnage, yes, that team. Yeah. That's where I am.
All right, and now let's go to final question here for playoff scenarios. There's a lot of teams we didn't talk about, a lot of situations we didn't talk about, but here's the thing. We're talking about every playoff matchup next week, guys. Make sure to tune in. Playoff Bracketology Megacast. It's a big one. You're not going to want to miss that. Last question here. Throwing or Bad and Reckless Sigma will be facing each other this week. The winner of that will take the number 3 seed in the Indigo here. Throwing or Bad, kind of a weird journey to get to where they are, but they're here now. And then you have Reckless Sigma, who's been an awesome, awesome team all season long, just kind of right outside of that top group here. Beth, what do you think?
All right, I'm just gonna straight up come out and be biased here. I'm gonna pick Throwing or Bad because I like Chimanzi, Krev, and Smarties. I think they're cool people. I think they can pull it together and get the win. Sure, they've had kind of a weird run to get here, but they're all really strong players, and I feel like they can possibly pull this out. So I'm gonna go with them. Biased Beth is back.
Navino, go ahead.
The Cold Hard Truth segments. I gotta say this now. I'm sorry, but I have literally negative. I do like Smarties and Chim though. Smarties and Chim are chill, but every time I've seen them actually play, it's I think in the games they've actually played, they lost 4-0 to both Dukes and to Insidious, right? And then who they beat?
No, they went 3-1 to Insidious.
3-1. Oh, hey, they took them out. That's better than I thought, to be honest. I think they have on paper when I looked in, I was like, oh, this team can compete, but they just haven't delivered that, And they're really great people, but I just I'm not. I think Sigma has consistently kind of shown themselves as a somewhat top 8 team. And I just don't see Throwing or Bad as that. I said at the beginning of the season, but if they need to win dominantly to get into the top 8 for me.
That is the end of our playoff scenarios, guys. So much at stake this week. Can't wait to see the brackets here. They'll be coming out obviously as soon as we're able to post them. For a couple of pools, they'll be out, or a couple of the tiers, they should be out by Thursday or Friday. Unfortunately for Transcendence, because Epizuxus and Devil Dukes are stinky, you probably won't see that till Sunday night. So, but the playoff brackets will be coming out soon, and we're excited to see that all come out here. Let's talk about end of season awards. I know a lot of you guys are excited about that, so let's get right into it, guys. End of season awards. Here's how these came up, by the way. End of season awards we do every season at the end of it. It's amazing. In the name. They are awards given to 8 different things. We have best main tank, off tank, flex support, main support, hit scan, projectile DPS, most improved player, and best coach. Here's the deal with end of season awards. They are voted on by a committee. We had a committee of about 8 to 10 in each tier provide their insight and input into narrowing down the list of submitted people into our final top 8 for each tier. Obviously, there's going to be some people who disagree with these things. To those people who disagree, I say there were spots open on every single committee. You should have asked to join it.
Yeah. Anyone that complains, like, you should have just been on it.
Boy, you had an opportunity there. You dropped the ball. I've been asking for people to join it for 2 weeks, and you didn't. So I'll play a very, very tiny violin for you, but I'm a huge guy, so that's just a regular size violin for me. So, man, so my pity level goes way down for people who are who didn't have an opportunity to really talk about their team. So, committee is for cool people only, as Joby said. I can't agree more. True. But let's talk about, first and foremost, we're going to go NA Harmony tier first. We're going to do EU after that, Discord, and Transcendence. Again, these are your top 8 who are narrowed out of the list of 24 nominees here. So start off with start off here with the best main tank in Harmony tier. Your nominees, we have Xeno from Frost Nova, and we have Grodzilla from Jersey Boys, Sav from the Luminous Foxes, we have Jewish Missile from Big Bang Buccaneers, Mayhem from Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, Jonesy from the Galactic Penguins, Optibot from Nemesis, and Yojimbo from Strix. Beth, your thoughts on who is your favorite to come out of this pool here?
So I'm trying to pick as few Big Bang Buccaneer people as possible, because if it was my pick, we would all win it. So just keep that in mind with what I'm saying.
Failed.
I failed. I did fail. But I'm going to
try. Says Navino. So. Wait till we get to Transcendence here, by the way. Just saying, Navino. Anyways.
I picked... Let me look at this.
Anyways.
Okay, I picked two decaps. I picked 2 decaps.
Go ahead.
What do you want from me?
Beth, go ahead.
So I'm going to give a shout out to Jonesy on this one. I feel like he's not very talked about. He plays a really strong main tank, and I feel like he's a big part of the heart and core of the Galactic Penguins. I feel like he keeps their mental in line. He's just a really solid person, really solid player. So I wanted to give him a shout out for this.
Navino, what about you?
I gotta pick the man, the myth, the legend of the Rhine himself, Grodzilla. I think when he, even though, as I said, Jersey Boys is disappointed, I just think that he is such a stand on the team, even when they lose, that I can't help but just be like, dang, he is something.
There's no more impactful Reinhardt player in the tier.
I would agree.
I wish we had him during the GOATs meta. God,
that would have been fun.
It would have been Godzilla Goats meta. It would have just been Goatzilla, and it would have been amazing. I would have been so happy. Let's go to your off tanks now in the Harmony tier. Starting off first and foremost with Ricky from Frost Nova, TIE Fighter from the Koala Kings. We have Rockaneko from Luminous Foxes, Florida from Frost Bloom, Alt F4 from Amateur Professionals, Bethcon from the Big Bang Buccaneers, Drug from the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, and Nico from Galactic Penguins. Beth, who is your favorite out of this group?
So this is where my bias came through, and I chose my... No, I'm just kidding. I did not pick myself for this. I actually wanted to call out Alt F4 for this one. Although Amateur Professionals have had a little bit of struggle,
I thought you talking about the team. Oh,
no. Alt F4 is a player for Amateur Professionals.
That just went over my head.
Yeah. I feel like they are a very strong off tank player, a really good diva player. I watched the VOD of our game against them from their perspective, and a lot of just really solid plays there. So that's the person I'm going to give a shout out to.
Vino.
I went with, I feel like, a very obvious choice, which is Rockaneko. I did not pick my own team, Beth. And
I didn't either.
Shush. We'll get there. We'll get there. So
Wait till you get to his next picks.
hey. I picked though Rocco Neko because I think like especially when you watch back the VOD, like Rocco just so much for their comms, so much for like just their play overall that I think it makes sense to give it to him. And yeah, they moved down, and their move down from Discord tier was kind of surprising, but they've done super well, and I think that if you take Rocco out of Luminous Foxes, they are probably honestly mid-tier to bottom table team.
Go to the Harmony tier again with the hit scans. We have Booncore from Frost Nova. You got Titan from the Jersey Boys. Knocked from Koala Kings. King Yako from the Luminous Foxes. Beppo from the Big Bang Buccaneers. Widowmane from Galactic Penguins. Bad Ashes from Geometric. And then from Strix is PVB 306. Beth, who's your favorite coming out of this group?
So I had to give this one to PVB. I feel like the DPS line from Strix in general is a really big part of their success, and I just know every time we've played against them, PVB has been absolutely oppressive on whatever hero he's on. So he's my pick for this one.
Davino?
All right. I tease Beth, but I have to go for my boy here. Even though Yeti did ask me what nominations were, isn't he a flex DPS? He's what we call a full flex because Noel basically plays the far end May now, and Monty's been taking or not, whatever you want to call him, has been playing that hit scan for us. And I think like anyone that's played Koala Kings can like truly tell you that Noct is just a hard carry at points, and he is like has an outside like I'm trying to think like how to phrase this, but just like the impact on the game is insane. Like I don't think we beat Strix if he's not there. I like the only game we've played without him there was the Chrysalis game, and that game was close because he was not there.
Right. Going out to projectile DPS. Started off with Thoramea from Frost Nova. Bento from the Jersey Boys. Null from the Koala Kings. From Luminous Foxes, we have Eternal, pardon me. Toxic from the Big Bang Buccaneers. Sleepy G from Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, and Ember Chad from Nemesis, and Doha from Strix. Beth, your thoughts on this group?
Yeah, so I kind of made a couple of last-second swaps on this one. I'm going to talk about Sleepy G from the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. I feel like they're a really strong projectile player. Another team that really relies on their DPS a lot. I'm surprised Dirkby Shark wasn't nominated for hit scan since I feel like them as a duo works really, really well.
I think that's the biggest surprise of the entire group, by the way, is that Derby Shark didn't get.
Well, I think it's because Sleepy plays all 4 maps and Derpy only plays 2.
No, I'm just saying. Anyways, I don't want to drag it out on that. Let's.
Yeah, Sleepy G, good. Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies.
Davino, your thoughts?
I picked another Luminous Foxes player, aka Eternal. I think Eternal is quite pog. Eternal again has a huge impact on just the game. And like their Doomfist really brought back maps there. Like I think that just in general, they play the carry heroes and do really well. And I think they're a huge part. Them and Rocco, to me, are the big parts of the success of Luminous this season.
All right, let's go to Flex Support now. I'm sorry. Yes, Flex Support. Here we go. Flex Support in Harmony tier. You got Zorthcon from the Koala Kings. Luminous from the Luminous Foxes is Finief. You have Z from the Amateur Professionals. You got Sexy Lexi from Big Bang Buccaneers. Mooncake from Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. From Galactic Penguins is Onyx. From Strix is Mimp. And from the Fighting Potatoes is Pugster. Your thoughts on this group, Beth?
Yeah, really strong group of flex supports. The person I am choosing to give a shout out to, though, is Zorthcon from the Koala Kings. Recency bias, we just scrimmed them yesterday, but Zorthcon just does not die and is constantly healing everyone and is constantly doing damage. Absolutely dominant player. So I definitely think they deserve a look for this category.
Davino, your thoughts?
I went with Onyx from Galactic Penguins. I think every time I watch this man, like, doesn't really miss his shots. He has really smart ultimates, really good immortalities. Like, I just think his bat play specifically is just so out of this world good that it keeps them in maps.
True.
And he's a super smart support, just super good and a big carry in the team.
True.
That's all I really got. Like, I can't really say much more about Onyx. He's done really well this season, and I honestly thought going in, like, after playing him in preseason, the Onyx was kind of like a weak point for them, and he's just really flipped my opinion on it, like, watching him the last few weeks.
All right, main supports now to Harmony tier. We have Order from Chrysalis. We have Clem from Luminous Foxes. Frog from Frost Bloom. From Big Bang Buccaneers is QB. From Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies, Coconut. From Galactic Penguins is Yuno. From Geometric is Wooly. And from Strix is Nighthawk. Beth, who stands out of this group for you?
All right, biased Big Bang Buccaneers Beth coming through. I've got to give this one to QB. Man is an absolute legend on main support. Like, his Lucio play is insane. His Brig is almost unkillable. Like, he does a lot of ult tracking, he does a lot of comms. I feel like he's one of the better main supports in the entire tier and doesn't get the recognition he deserves. So that's why I decided to become biased and give him a shout out.
Vino, what do you think?
I'm actually going to pivot on my pick because I've been flip-flopping the entire time. Actually, I'm just going to kind of say both, to be honest. You know, I'm cheating a little bit. I'm picking two. I had Nighthawk from Strix and also the Wooly from Geometric. I know, don't give me that look, Yeti. I know the bias. I know I have some bias. Anyway, both really have good impact. Wooly's a bright spot on a team that struggled. Nighthawk has been a rock for Strix. Brilliant.
Most improved player in Harmony tier. Our nominees are Thoramea, from Frost Nova, Titan from Jersey Boys, from Big Bang Buccaneers is Phoenix. I don't know if he's from Phoenix. Chobi from Galactic Penguins, Bad Ashes from Geometric, and Dae from Strix, Caden from Squall, and Vila from the Fighting Potatoes. All right, Beth, who is your most improved out of Harmony tier?
All right, this is the last bias of the night, but I'm going to give a shout out to Phoenix. So, a little bit of backstory about Phoenix. He was supposed to be a 2-week fill for us while we were waiting for Beppo's SR to be for his seasons to reset so Beppo could play for us. Phoenix never complained. He played his heart out every match, and we saw him get better so much over the course of those 2 weeks that we offered him a full-time spot on the team. Man is a complete grinder. He's getting a VOD review like every week, if not more than that. Like, I think he definitely deserves that most improved spot.
Vino.
I'm gonna pivot again, actually, because I'm gonna say Chobi. I'm going Chobi. Chobi is just like, I remember playing in preseason finals. I literally said to Koala Kings, we just got to win the maps Chobi's in. We'll be fine. And we did go 2-0 Chobi DPS. But when you see the gameplay he has now, he has improved tremendously. And I want to give him props for that.
Having played against Chobi in the preseason, it reminded me of a certain DPS player from last Harmony tier who shall remain nameless, who favored heavily the Junkrat. That was me. As the season's got on, he's really been awesome, and he's gotten way better. Definitely helped Galactic. Let's go to best coach. Best coach in Harmony tier is Jasper from Frost Nova, Winterhaven from the Jersey Boys, Vino, Bernie from Luminous Foxes, Train from Big Bang Buccaneers, Neapolitan from Galactic Penguins, Shady B from Strix, and Delphi from the Fighting Potato. I love it when Vito gets any credit for anything because immediately the entire chat is like, "How? No!" Beth,
hey man, ahead. Talk to my rings, man. You know.
No. Beth, please shut him up.
I can't. Why did you have to be like this?
I will respect you if you pivot, Beth.
Why are you the way you are?
Why must you be?
I will respect you if you pivot.
I should, but honestly, I can't because I'm trying to be unbiased here, and that includes my bias against the marsupial org. I picked Navino. Ugh.
All right.
I'm mostly kidding. So so overall, I feel like Koala Kings are just a very well coached team. They're not going to get to where they are if they're not. So I feel like Navino, you do deserve some of the credit for that. And being as unbiased as possible, I'm going to give a coach shout out to Navino.
As chat is up in arms against this, Navino, your thoughts, best coach.
Who? I'm gonna
Pivot
go
now.
with-
I swear to God.
No,
Okay.
I'm not. I can't pivot a third person in a row. I will say Train, honestly. Like when going preseason, I honestly was really underwhelmed by BBB. But Train, like obviously, like you talk about like Phoenix grinding, you talk about just like the improvements y'all have made from going from a team I thought will finish bottom half to now a team that really has an actual shot at the championship. I really thought they would finish bottom half.
Bottom half.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. I thought Potatoes was better at one point.
Well, I certainly hoped at certain points, but let's not talk about potatoes today.
Anyway, Train gets a lot of credit, deserves a lot of credit. He's put in a lot of hours for them, I'm sure.
All right. 102 viewers right now, by the way. Thanks very much for tuning in, everybody. Let's get to the Discord tier now, guys. We're going a little long right now, so we're going to kind of start to speed it up a little bit here. Discord tier nominees right now. Starting off with main tanks, you have Benny from Cosmic Castaways. We have Thor from Firefight. We have Master Ryan O or Master Ryan O. Yes, LCS from SEAL Team Spuds. You got B-Ball Man 69 from Quokka Queens, Infuse from Renegades, Iconic from Space Created, and Cryptic Force from Joey Esports. Beth, your thoughts?
All right, I am giving my main tank pick to Master Ryan O from Redacted. I feel like they owe a lot of their success to him. He's a strong tank player. He's the captain. He's a strong voice on their team.
Vino.
I have a bit of recency bias, but I'm gonna go with Infuse. I think like after playing them, he's definitely a bright spot in that team. Played really good tanks overall, and if you watch back their comms, like he talks, he like tries to keep pushing the team forward, and I think he's just probably one of the best.
Off tanks now. Off tanks in this tier. Started off with Train from Big Bang Buccaneer. I'm sorry, from Cosmic Castaways. Pardon me. Schuster from Firefight. Respite from Redacted. Choi Soo-won from SEAL Team Spuds. Classy Turtle from Domination. Vespa King from Quokka Queens. Eags from Renegades. And Beth, your thoughts?
He doesn't even say my name.
Sorry.
The disrespect, man. I'm going to be biased one more time. I'm going to give this one to Train. He's just a really big brain player for the game. He does a lot of leadership for that team. Solid off tank, solid diva player. Got to give it to him.
I refuse to say the same thing as you. I refuse.
Okay.
He
was going to, for the record.
I'm going to say Choi Soo-won from the Spuds. You know, I will not name a marsupial. Thank you very much. I'll say Choi Soo-won because just from like hearing from the Spuds themselves about how much he brings to their team and just like the way he got on the team, like it's hard to argue that against the impact he has.
All right, hit scans in the Discord tier. Starting off with Mag Polar from Cosmic Castaways. Twist from Firefight. Prime from Redacted. Seraph from the SEAL Team Spuds. Dotaic from Valkyrie. Matsen from Quokka Queens. Icy from the Inferno Foxes. And Polar from Joey Esports. All right. Beth, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to give my shout out on this one to Twist. Really strong hit scan player, and he's got a pretty good brain for the game as well. He's been helping out a little bit with the Big Bang Buccaneers and our scrims, helping to do some coaching, and he just really has a lot of game knowledge. So I'm going to give him a shout out for this one.
Vino.
I don't know how much bias counts because, but I said Matson from Quokka Queens. Yes, it's my org, but Matson, like I think even like Apathy or someone from Cosmic Castaways talked about like how Matson on some of the maps literally just brought them back within a fight by killing 4 or 5 in their game. Matson is probably the best player on that team.
All right. Projectile players. Next is Poggers from Cosmic Castaways, Pebble Clip from Redacted, Capital from the SEAL Team's Buds, Reborn from the Quaka Queens, Belly from Space Created, Swifters from Joey Esports, Wolf from Inferno Foxes, and Gliscor from Poseidon. All right. Beth, what do you think here?
For this one, I am going to choose Reborn. I feel like they don't get a lot of talk. From Quaka Queens. I feel like they don't get talked about a whole lot, but I feel like they are a pretty solid player and a good contributor to that team.
Davina, what about you?
All right, I have to pick something where my bias truly shines, and that is my boy Swifters. I cannot help but talk about how much an impact he has and just how he quite literally carries our game sometimes because of his comms. He IGLs with me as a flex DPS, which is, if anyone's ever played flex DPS, you know how hard that can be to do. And he literally sometimes puts us in the backpack. I think specifically King's Rover Spuds stage 1. Swifters just on a Doomfist just literally did not let them play the game.
All right. Let's go to your flex supports in Discord tier. Pyro from the Cosmic Castaways. You have Potato from Firefight. Glitch from the SEAL Team Spuds. Womp Dump from Valkyrie. Foxard from Domination. Basket from the Quack Queens. Commander from Space Created. And QZ from Joey Esports. All right, Beth, what do you think here?
So I'm going to give my shout out to QZ on this one. I feel like they're a really strong player, have been around in the community, very active for quite some time. And I feel like part of the reason that Joey Esports has been so successful is because of their really strong flex support play.
Davina, what about you?
I am going to say Pyro. I gotta give credit to Pyro. Mans is quite cracked. I can't really ignore the impact he has, especially in a team that plays ball comp where your flex support has to be really good. You just see how good he is by Pyro's play.
Reminder, guys, these are just the nominees. These aren't role stars. These aren't the winners. We aren't picking the winners tonight. These are just the nominees. So everybody calm down. QZ hasn't won anything yet. Main support.
Let this happen.
Yes, main support in Discord tier. Cry from the Cosmic Castaways. YB from Firefight. Your teammate from SEAL Team's Buds. Brent from Domination. Yummy Mac from Hammerhead. Bunjin from Space Created. RMM from Joey Esports. And Psycon from Monarch. What do you think here, Beth?
All right. So for this one, I am going to shout out Cry from Cosmic Castaways. Just a really strong player, really strong main support. Cosmic Castaways are doing really well this season. So that is where I'm casting my vote.
I have to give credit. Oh, I didn't even let you say, Davina, what do you think?
You know what comes next. We know the drill by now.
I gotta say Function. Space Created, their backline is really solid. And he says you can see by the nominees. And Function to me is just, I've played with him before. I tried over Space Created at one point. He's just as an out. He's probably one of the best main supports I've seen in the tier.
Let's go to most improved out of the Discord tier. Apathy, Cosmic Castaways. Your teammate from SEAL Team Spuds. Winter from Foss Surge. Killjoy from Hammerhead. B-Ball Man from Quaka Queens. Rabbit Gamer from Renegades. Keegs from Space Created. And Rage from Poseidon. All right, what do you think, Beth?
All right. So for my shout out for this one, I am going to give it to your teammate and my teammate. Just kidding, your teammate. But
Wow.
he is just a solid dude, honestly. He's been in the community for forever, and it's been really good to see. He hasn't had the most meteoric rise in growth, but I feel like he's had that sort of steady growth over the last few seasons, and I think that he deserves a mention for most improved.
Navino.
I said B-Ball Man 69 mostly because I really wanted to say it on cast. But he was like 2.6 when he joined the team, and he's competing, and Quokka's doing really well, and he was 2.6. He could have actually been the main tank for Koala Kings. So I just want to give him credit for grinding and getting better.
And your best coaches in Discord tier start off with the Mormon 27 from Redacted, Fry from the SEAL Team's Buds, Dabmaster from Domination, Kizzle from the Quokka Queens, Glowless from the Renegades, Chimanzi from Space Created, Cam from Joey Esports, and Scene from Inferno Foxes. Beth, what do you think?
I am going to give my shout out to Chimanzi on this one, based on what I know about kind of the team and how things and what's going on there, and what I know about Chimanzi's coaching style. I feel like he does a good job of kind of keeping a team that could be a little all over the place in line and working well together. So that's who I'm giving my shout out to.
Vino.
I went with the Mormon 27. Redacted has improved a ton from beginning the season to now, and even like if you think about them last season, where they were kind of the guaranteed 4-0. I'll be real, like everyone beat Redacted last season, and they have improved so much, and I think that is in large thanks to the Mormon 27. Also, your nickname's kind of funny.
Let's go over to EU now, guys. EU Harmony tier. Start off with the main tanks. We have only 5 nominees here. Mystic from Apollo, Nero from A10 Esports, Wallendothus from EU Scrimbucks, pardon me, How to Draw from Feeders United, and Dragon Prince from Paid to Win. All right, Beth, who do you think?
I am going to give my shout out to Mystic here. So Apollo has been a really strong team this season. They're one of the favorites to win right now, and I feel like a lot of that is riding on him. Extremely good Winston player, kind of just overall a really good main tank.
Vino.
I also said Mystic. Like I'll be real. I don't watch that much Harmony EU, but he's the name I recognize as someone that's been dominant. So I also went with Mystic.
All right, and as a reminder, we only have 5 nominees in EU. There's only 12 teams, so go a little less nominations here. Doesn't make sense to have 8 out of 12 be nominated. That seems silly. So we just did 5. Now to off tanks here. Starting off with Obese Walrus from Apollo, Silas from Acer, from EU Scrimbucks, Ad Meloria, Rubix from Feeders United, and Jansen from Paid to Win. Beth, go ahead.
I am going to give my shout out to Admiliora from Scrimbucks. Very good Diva player, and as a Diva player myself, I hold that in high regard when it comes to off tanks.
Davino, go ahead.
I picked Rubix for Feeders United. I think, really, I also thought of Rubik's Cube a lot when I was seeing their name. But when I watch back Feeders United VODs, even when I've been disappointed that they lose because I predicted them to win and they lose, Rubix has been a constant bright spot to me.
Hit scans now. Hit scans out of Harmony tier EU. Shagadelic from Apollo. Bouncy Mouse from Frequency. Elixir from EU Scrimbucks. The Best Jinx from Feeders United. And Matrix from Paid to Win. What do you think here, Beth?
I feel like Elixir is a pretty clear choice here. Player for Scrimbucks, just a very dominant hit scan, had a really good showing in the Widow 1v1. Definitely a player. Even it looks like in chat, a lot of the NA players even know him. So very, very solid, very good player.
Vito, go ahead.
I said Nyx or Matrix, whichever one they go by. I think Paid to Win has had some really great moments, and like their hit scan play has been a large part of it.
Navino, I hate you so much right now. I just want Abraxas to know how much I hate him as well. Beth.
That's fair.
Yeah, I know.
That's fair.
Sorry. A lot of you don't know why I'm saying that. That's just too damn
I
bad.
mean,
So-
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I really hate Abraxas too sometimes.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's go now to projectile players. Gadren from Apollo. Monkey from Acer. Bait from Venice Vipers. Sorry, guys. Zumi from Feeders United. And Stay from Paid to Win. Beth, Navino is gone. What do you think?
I think I don't know where he went. So I went. Oh, he got his pizza. Perfect.
Very important.
Very
Hey, I
important.
almost got back in time.
True.
Before
It's
you...
true. It's
Almost.
almost.
Almost. I picked Mate from the Venice Vipers here. I feel like the Venice Vipers haven't gotten enough kind of chatter around them, but Mate seems to be a really strong player for them. And yeah, looking forward to watching them play more.
Navino, go ahead.
The contactless delivery. They just kept calling. I said Gadrin. Yeah, that's why I got him. I said Gadrin. Apollo's like the best team, as I said. And especially a team that plays like Balfara and like just ball comps in general, your flex DPS has to carry points.
All right. Now we'll go over to flex supports. Starting off with Yoshi from Apollo. Yuri from Orthus. Aiden from EU Scrimbucks. Ure from Feeders United. And Shoanoi from Thunderbolt Rewind. Beth, your thoughts?
Yeah. So for flex support, I went with Yoshi from Apollo. Again, when you look at a good team, you look at the kind of big parts that people play in that, and I feel like flex support is a role that teams rely heavily on. They're a very solid, strong player, and I think they've been a big contributor to that team's success.
Navino.
Oh, really? This is kind of my bias from last season, Harmony. I also said Yoshi. And it's refreshing to see him on low ping. I'll be real. Instead of like we played like what 130, 140 ping last season. Like it's amazing what having only 50 ping will do to you and not playing at 3 a.m.
Right.
And he's just proven how great he is.
Main sports now. Main sports in Harmony tier. Drini from Apollo. Holdris from Orthus. Spadrek from EU Scrimbucks. Appletree from Acer. And FT from Thunderbolt Rewind. Beth, go ahead.
So I am going to give my shout out to Coldritz from Orthus. I just feel like he's been a really strong player this season and has been doing really well for that team.
Vino.
I said FT. Yeah, FT. Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Also, because I think Thunderbolt Rewind has been a team that's like, yeah, I've been a little underwhelming, but when I look at them play, like, I never look at it and go, their main support feeds. And so thus you pass my eye test of main supports.
Don't
There you
feed, and you're a great main support. Noted.
I mean, you can just kind of exist as a main support, and he does it very well and also makes plays. So
All right. Male Wilson proves Staple Wipe. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I apologize. From Apollo. Cadrek DK from Venice Vipers. Aiden from EU Scrimbucks. The Best Jinx from Feeders United. And Rest in Pieces from Thunderbolt Rewind. Beth.
All right. I'm going to give my shout out to Rest in Pieces from Thunderbolt Rewind. So Thunderbolt Rewind is a team that has been getting better over time, and I just feel like Rest in Pieces has been a really big part of that.
Vino.
okay, just because Agar, I don't know how to say your name, but saying that I dislike EU Scrimbucks is blasphemy, slander even. I picked for my person, Aiden, as the most improved. Because I think since Jack, the whole thing happened, Aiden has stepped up in a big way, and you can see the improvement from beginning to end.
And finally, Best Coach. Harmony Tier EU. We got Kobe from Apollo. Adrian from A10 Esports. Ogara from EU Scrimbucks. Chinchil, pardon me, from Orthus. And then Soviet Cyborg from Paid to Win. Beth, who is the best coach? Your opinion.
In my opinion, I'm going to go with Hadrian 918S from A10 Esports. This is a team that may not be the strongest out there, but they have shown a lot of improvement over time. And I feel like Hadrian is playing a big role in that team's improvement.
And Navino.
I picked another Apollo person. To much to the EU chat's chagrin, I picked Kobe from Apollo. I think like the improvement they made I think they've slowly gotten better, more and more dominant as the season's gone on.
Right. All right. Let's go now to the weekly comms check here. After the comms check ends, all the drawings will happen. So this is your last chance to get your giveaway entries in for this week. At that point, the giveaway entries will be pulled for the giveaway later tonight. Comms check right now, brought to you by Phoenix this week.
Nice. Two. Hey, Lucio.
No, sorry.
Oh, another flux miss.
That was the most like lackadaisical sheesh I've heard in my life.
I'm very okay. I haven't been able to sheesh ever since my voice. I haven't been able to sheesh ever since. I haven't been able to sheesh ever since my voice started COVID. If you guys think something's wrong, I can't sheesh.
I'm out there.
Carp for free right now.
No, yeah, Tarp's in us. Tarp one. Okay.
Wait, I'm trying to keep him distracted so you cap.
Yeah, no, I'm like, Carp, just chill. Don't take. I might actually cap this.
Yeah, keep it deep.
No way, no way, no way, no way.
Dude, there's no way to that.
Oh my god, I shot him perfectly. Oh,
He was?
He's in the right. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, because coincidentally, oh my god, Yoshi, it's a Bappa jail with you.
Come on, boss like defense, come on.
Why is what's so beast?
Come on, boss like talk, come on.
Start of time, baby. Yeah, wait, let me show you my guns.
Yo, Trini,
you really want to play
can I play Lucio for you?
I have two of these. Real rap? I have like two of these, actually. Real rap, Yoshi? Real talk?
Yoshi.
Damn, bro.
I'm bad at Lucio. I was thinking about it, but I'm bad at Lucio. I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I went to tap point because I was like, oh, their whole team is one hit point, and their Diva was there. I didn't realize their Diva was there, and then I got he hit me with the flash, roll, I was depressed.
It hurts my ears.
Someone like so.
Someone did a lot of damage to me, so I just called it going.
Hey, man.
I mean, I don't. Oh, it's your turn. But I mean, that's
like those are their only two supports anyway. Like,
Yeah.
kill those two, then like,
Yeah.
holy crap! What?
Still the bastard, still the bastard, still the bastard. Lane, bastard, bastard. Hey, bastard. Mercy. Who's next? Six. Yeah.
Great job!
Let's go! Oh my god! That shatter was massive!
holy legend today.
Shatter! Run! Focus run! Diva! Kill Diva! Do one! Diva! Baby! Finish him! More! Let's go! What the? Hell yeah! What the hell? Got a whole team! Good!
It hurts my ears.
All right, thank you so much for that awesome comms check, Phoenix. Again, we have our end of season nominations going right now. Let's dive right in to the main tanks in Transcendence tier. Starting off with Hureg from Reckless Arcadia, Smugs from Decapitators, Dizzy from Devil Dukes, Ravage from Carnage, Golo from Epizeuxis, PM Doggy from Zeus, Telm J. Can from Battalion, and Patient from Throwing or Bad. Beth, what do you think?
All right. I'm gonna give my shout out here to Timothy J. Canathy from Battalion. Strong player, strong tank player. They haven't had the most success this season, but what success they've had, I feel like they attribute a lot of it to him.
All right, Navino.
I said Dizzy from Devil Dukes. I think like if you watch the Arcadia game, whenever he's gone, like there's an obvious gap, and he just has been a dominant. The way he plays the game is just so fast and kind of dominant. The team's done really well. So I said Dizzy.
Go to off tanks now in the Transcendence tier. Your nominees are Astro Zer from Reckless Arcadia, Danae from Decapitators, Tommy Slat from Devil Dukes, Apollo from Carnage, Cam from Epizeuxis, Spectre from Reckless Sigma, PDK from Battalion, Shamanzi from Throwing or Bad. Beth.
I am going to give my shout out on this one to DNA from Decapitators. It's been awesome watching them just continue to improve over the last few seasons, and I feel like they've turned into a truly dominant off-tank player.
Vino.
So I want to clarify this. Epi is not a marsupial team. They are not.
They're marsupial adjacent.
They are not a marsupial.
They are marsupial
team.
adjacent.
I pick Cam. Cam is probably the best off tank, best IGL that I've played with or played against. Like all you need to know, really.
They are marsupial adjacent, and you will not convince me otherwise. It scans.
Don't let QZY hear you say that. He gets very defensive.
Tescu from Reckless Arcadia, Charybdis from Decapitators, Ravioli from Devil Dukes, Nick from Carnage, Frozen from Epizeuxis, Calypso from Reckless Sigma, and Dragon from Zeus, and Laurer from F214. What do you think, BethCon?
All right. So I am glad that you read them all out because I definitely was going to say Tesuke. So I'm glad it's Tescu. So Tescu from Reckless Arcadia. Reckless Arcadia has been a really strong team this season. Tescu has been pretty dominant on the hit scan roll.
Davino, who do you got?
Your everyone's favorite hit scan, Frozen, also known as Cavino in various discords. I have nothing really to say outside of like if you watch Epi games, he's good. Outside of getting Widow Diffed by Rajin, so sorry Frozen, you got Widow Diffed, but pretty good hit scan, probably the best in the tier in my opinion.
I will say it again. Marsupial adjacent. All right.
Okay.
Projectile. We have from Reckless Arcadia, Thanatos. Probably mispronouncing that. I'm sorry. Orsted from the Decapitators. Phone from Devil Dukes. Gap from Carnage. Star Platinum from Battalion. Chief from the Billings Boomers. Dragon, different Dragon, from Puerto Rico. And Pro Gamer 360 from Throwing or Bad. Beth.
I think I'm going to do a pivot on this one and pick Phone. Just a really solid projectile DPS player, as much as it pains me again to pick a marsupial. No, I'm just kidding. Just a really solid, strong player for that team.
Vino.
You know, I did Yeti a solid here and picked a decap player. A well-deserved one, though. I meme. Orsted, I picked Orsted. Really good. Like, there's nothing, like, Orsted's been known, God hand, everything. He's been great. Why am I getting that?
Bootlick. Okay, cool. Just wanted to get that.
Oh my god.
All right. Flex support now, guys. Sir Olin 21 from Reckless Arcadia. Voltage B from the Decapitators. Aplom from Devil Dukes. Kip from Carnage. True Donger from Epizeuxis. Nix from Uzumaki. Silvatals from Billing Boomers. And Smarties from Throwing or Bad. And I'm just going to go ahead and address this now because I already saw it in chat. We just got to the nominee phase, and it's already being said. And I'm going to say it again. Yes, popularity is always a factor in these things. It's amazing how people don't realize that. When you have a tier of 24 teams and you have a committee making these votes, it'd be way worse if it was If it was a public vote, by the way, way worse.
Oh yeah, I mean All Stars is way worse.
It's way worse.
Yeah.
Of course, popularity has something to do with that. Nobody's sitting here pretending that this award is purely based on skill because there's 24 teams and we have 7 weeks to do this. We can't sit and judge every single individual player on every single team. We don't have the capabilities to do that. If you have a gripe about popularity contests, fine, but we asked for opinions. We definitely did. If you wanted to be a part of the voting committee, you could have very easily done that, and you could have let your opinion be heard. But
yeah,
we know popularity has something to do with these things because people aren't going to vote for people they haven't heard of. That's the other kicker on this. If people are sitting in here complaining like, God, my team didn't get anybody picked for, you know why maybe your team didn't get picked for? Because nobody knows who you are. No offense. Like, no offense. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be a dick because it's not about being a dick. It's just being honest, guys. These things aren't purely based on skill because they can't be. Because we don't have the expertise to fully judge that out. It's just, no offense is meant. It's just reality, guys. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but it's just the simple fact of the matter is popularity will always have a factor in these things. We hear it every season from teams of players who just literally do not give a crap to participate in Tranquility in any way, shape, or form. They don't participate in event week. They don't participate in any of the Discords. They don't come to pugs. They don't join in on content. They're just never around for anything. And then award season comes out and they're like, oh, this is just a popularity contest. Well, no shit! Because nobody knows who you are. And I'm trying to be nice about these things. I really am, but I can only handle so much of it every season before eventually I just snap a little bit. And just right now, guys, like, of course popularity is a factor in it, but use your heads. Think about it. Think about why it is. Like,
and it's honestly just a numbers game too, right? If we watched every game every week, it would be 74 hours of game footage per person,
No,
that we would have to watch.
We just can't do that. Like, I mean this.
You don't get paid to full-time watch Tranquility gameplay.
I'm already working 80 hours a week.
Do I sit here and think like somebody like, and this is not meant as a shot on this person individually, but do I look at a person like, let's just say the person who we both of us pay? Do we look at Train and say Train is that far and away the best off tank to ever touch Discord tier?
Yes,
he's a great.
no.
He's a great off tank, but he also is well known, well respected, great reputation as a player. It pays off in his own. He participates in stuff. He's part of things. He helps be a part of things. He shows up to pugs. He does those things, and he also has respect because he plays well too. These things all roll into each other. You could either become popular because you help participate in stuff, or you can become popular because you're a damn good player. People, I look on the board, and there are lots of players who are on these award lists who barely ever participate in things, but they've been around, and people have gotten to know, damn, this player's really, really good. Like, Phone isn't the most active person in our Discord, but they get a ton of respect in these awards every time they come around because everybody knows that Phone is an incredible player. Just as an example, guys. Anyways.
I think also, like, a good example is just any of the new teams that have people in here that have not been super active. Like, I look at Veli from Space Creative for Discord tier.
Yes.
You know, like, the entire Harmony EU, like, is, like, not going to be known to probably some of the people unless only EU people were on the committee, but I have a feeling that's not always the case.
The EU committee was all EU players. So,
oh, that's good. I thought you might struggle to get people.
No,
but
we had good EU representation.
In general, like, and this is what I say to, like, my teams, and, like, you know, I have 5 teams in the tournament, and they all come to me and rant about how they feel like they're not getting recognized, even though, like, my teams generally are good. But I'm just like, guys, engage. Like, yes, it sucks thinking it's popularity contest, but it's not all of that. It's just like,
of course,
how can they have an opinion? Yeah. How can they have an opinion of you if you've never spoken?
Right.
You know.
Right. For instance, not trying to call it a person directly here, but the person who brought that up the first time, literally earlier today, was their first message in this chat. Yeah. Case in point. Case in point, y'all. Just saying. Yeah.
Anyway,
we should move on. I've got to wake up in like 6 hours.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I needed to get my single solitary pop off here. Let's go now to main supports here in the Transcendence tier. Do we even talk about flex supports? We kind of did. Anyways,
Did we?
Why Fanjin from Nagisa from
No, we
No,
just
we
read them out,
Crystal.
didn't we?
We'll get to that. We'll go back.
Okay.
Sia from Carnage.
sorry.
Epizeuxis for Simul from Epizeuxis.
sorry.
I'm losing my mind here. I blame Navino. Greninja from Battalion. Poofa from Billings Boomers, and Raven from Throwing Her Bad. All right, Navino. How's that pizza, buddy? Anyways, do your flex support and then your main support, Beth. Go ahead.
All right, flex support. I picked Sir Olin from Reckless Arcadia. Again, a really strong team, really relies heavy on their flex support. And Sir Olin is just a good person. Like, definitely steps up, takes a lot of responsibility for that team, and has a lot of responsibility for their success as well, I believe. And then for main support, I picked Sia from Carnage. I feel like they're just a really strong main support player. Carnage has been performing pretty well this season, and I feel like they owe a lot of that to them.
All right, Navino, go ahead.
I said, I feel like an obvious choice. It's just Voltage from for flex support from Decafs. I mean, very mechanically gifted player. Decaf's doing well. It's hard not to pick someone on that team. For main support, I picked Greninja from Battalion, even though it sometimes pains me to boost his ego as well. But Battalion's done well, as also done well, and Greninja's a large part of that, just as IGLing his steadiness, his survivability, and I think he definitely deserves that recognition.
Most improved in Transcendence tier next. We have Sir Olin from Reckless Arcadia, Smugs from the Decapitators, Azure from Devil Dukes, Sia from Carnage, Golo from Epizeuxis, PM Doggy from Zeus, Chief from the Billings Boomers, and Smarties from from Throwing Her Bad. I almost said Epizeuxis. Why? I don't know. I'm losing my mind.
There's a trade coming in.
Beth, go ahead.
I am going to give a shout out to Smarties on this one. I don't know if you follow her streams or are friends with her on Blizzard accounts or whatever. Girl is constantly grinding the game and trying to get better. So I've got to give her my shout out.
All right, Navino, go ahead.
I went with Sia from Carnage. I think after just watching him, even though they had a tough loss, he was a bright spot to me, and you could see the improvement every day from him. And I just think Carnage just he makes the most sense to me.
All right. Now, finally, last but not least, Coach. As Coach, we have Deepal from Reckless Arcadia, Andy from the Decapitators, Wadi from Devil Dukes, Bex from Carnage, Kernmaster from Epizeuxis, Denzel from Uzumaki, Falcon Master from Zeus, and Pokitude from Throwing Her Bad. All right, last Transcendence nomination there. What do you think, Beth?
All right, I'm going to give my shout out for Coach to Old Mandy from Decapitators. Definitely a big contributor to success. I had to make that joke because it was his birthday recently, right? But definitely a big contributor to their success. I feel like he's just got a lot of knowledge about the game.
Dino.
I said Denzel from Uzumaki. I think Denzel has this kind of thing as being a big coach in the community, and Uzumaki is a project team that I think he took on, and they look better every week. Yeah, it's really good.
All right, we have two final awards. These are the non-tier related awards, guys. For Best Caster and Best Non-Staff Contributor. Again, being a great player is an awesome thing in Tranquility, but we also like to pay respects and or give honor to the people who are providing more than that and providing their service to the Tranquility community and help us to grow to the level we have so far here. These are all volunteer efforts, and for some of them for many, many seasons. Let's start off with Best Caster here. And there's 8 nominees. You have Bowsy, Rudy TG, Ty Munster, Navino, Mr. Yeti, Dohan, Thoramea, and Toasty. Beth, what do you think here? Best caster.
All right, just making sure that multiple people get shouted out. I'm going to go with Ty Munster here. So they have stepped up in a big way this season, filling in a lot of casts, and they're doing a great job helping out this community. So I'm going to give them a shout out here.
Ty pulling the week-long casting trek through all of the week events this season. Navino.
I hate to say it. But Bowsy. Mans is always available, always casting, and he does really high quality cast too. You can't ignore it. Does really well.
Bowsy has done signed up for the most casts this season, so definitely well deserved for Bowsy there. I would agree. So again, not the winners yet. We'll get to them soon. Best non-staff contributors. These are people who are not on a Tranquility staff, moderators and up, that is. So this could include people who are on the CCT. This could include editors. Those we don't technically consider official Tranquility staff. They're just part of team contributors on the Tranquility roster. So, but here you go for your 10 nominees for best non-staff community contributors. Laggy-san, producer extraordinaire. You have Hippie, also a fantastic producer. Seraph, big help on the CCT this season. Train, obviously helping with the Teamfight Tactics tournament, and obviously CCT. Nagi, CCT help for sure, and obviously some video editing. Bowsy, a lot of things, just to put it bluntly. A ton of things. Just a ton of things. Capital, obviously, content creation help. Navino, doing a bunch, obviously, as well. The last two on there, just to quickly bring it back up here, just for a quick point of reference, because we have Nerfed, obviously, tons of work with the content creation team this season. And then, obviously, last but not least, PK, big help during event week, as well as this on the content predicting Tranquility. Beth, what do you think?
All right, I can't just do one shout out for this. So I'm going to give my first one to Laggy-san. Really has stepped up for producers, and we have a lot of times when we really need some, and they've just been like really stepping up to the plate there. Shout out also if you want to be a producer, it's pretty cool work, and Booth is a good teacher, so reach out to him. And then for my other one, I did pick Nerfed. So she's really stepped it up in a big way this season, really contributing a lot on content creation team, things like that. She's like always on projecting Trank, so she would be my other shout out.
All right, Navino.
Oh yeah, me. Yeah, me.
Yes, you. Yes, you.
So I said Bowsy again. I mean, I really can't like say how much of an impact that man's had. I'm literally going to be on Projecting Trank here shortly with him, and he took on that show all by himself. He's doing so much. And then, I would say actually though for a second one, I really want to give a shout out to PDK as well, who's done a lot with that as well and is willing to take on projects.
All right, let's get now to that is the end, I should say, of all our nominations here, guys. It's been a long cast tonight. We will having our final votes on our non-staff contributors here. And everything else over the next couple of weeks, and we'll have that announcement for you on our cast here for the Iris podcast. More than likely looking at the 9th of May for the end of season awards cast. So don't want to miss it. Make sure you catch that cast because that's when we hand out our Roll Stars and our winners of all their awards. Really quick, hyping up stuff. We have features this week every night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Squall versus Geometric, Zeus versus Arcadia, Domination versus Frost Surge. Also, we have the EU feature as well, A10 versus Orthus. We have Predicting Tranquility coming up right after the show. We have the Beat Drop airing on Thursday as well. So you're not going to want to miss that. Other than that, we have one announcement of note. Next week is our Bracketology Megacast. If you are interested in participating and predicting one of the casts, or one of the brackets, one of the tiers with us here on this cast. We are reserving one spot for each tier for members of the community who are not on the content team to have an opportunity to get in on the predicting action for this Bracketology cast. If you have a good webcam and a good microphone, this is a great opportunity to get in and, come in and show us what you can do. Show us what you can do on the predicting end, and also participate in some fun content for next week's cast. So if you're interested in doing that, please shoot me a DM. Last but not least is our announcement of our drawing winner this week. Congratulations to PDK, the winner of the shirt giveaway this week. PDK will receive merch from the Tranquility store of their choice. If you are interested in picking up a shirt like this awesome Decapitator shirt or any shirt from our Tranquility store, you can pick that up by going to shop.spreadshirt.com/OWTranquility or !store in the Discord. Make sure you go there and pick up some merch today. Other than that, that is the end of the cast tonight. Thank you so much for sticking with us for this very long cast. Shoutouts to both Beth and Navino as well for the awesome broadcast tonight. We thank you very much for gazing into the iris with us tonight, and we will see you again real soon. Stay tuned for Predicting Tranquility. Also, if you're interested, there will be pugs starting up in the Tranquility Discord here in about 5 minutes. So if you want to participate in some pugs while you have Predicting Tranquility on in the background, now's the time. Get there, guys. Have a good night.
Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.